Hello, welcome back. This is the final video of this series. The spring bag of books. Huge book haul. Yes. Which was supposed to have been just a couple huge bags of books on the first and third day of the sale, and then maybe a couple more books after the sale. It turned into a lot. Probably about 20 to 30 boxes worth of books total. Yeah. So it's why this is a series of videos instead of just one book haul video. Because you guys would have been watching a 7 or 8 hour long video to go through them all. I'm not going to make you guys do that, and I don't know if my computer would want to store that big a video long enough to do it. So, yeah. So, as with all the previous videos, this one is mostly just going to be me showing you guys books, and I'm going to talk about what I'm going to do with these videos now that they are more or less done. So I'll start with that more or less, and we'll talk about it as I go through these books as well, I'm sure. So Neva, Reading with Neva, I believe. I always forget channel names after a while. But Neva has a new video out as of today, I believe. I will be linking it in the description about her new reading game to reward herself for reading the books that she's intending to read. Beyond that, I haven't seen the video yet, so I'll find out with everybody else what her actual rules are, how she's handling it. But we were talking about it on Sprints a couple nights ago. And, ways to reward yourself for reading and kind of brainstorming. I think her model for hers changed a little bit during that conversation too. But yeah, mine is going to be a bit different. It's inspired by what she was talking about. But we're all kind of trying to solve the problems that are unique to our reading situations. My problem in my reading situation, and I call it a problem, it kind of is, it's just a challenge to be addressed, is that when I get these big book hauls, I don't necessarily know about the books. I like it that way. But I need to have a way to kind of hold myself accountable to reading the books that I've gotten during these massive influxes of books. Not as a thing with punishments. We agreed during our discussion that punishments don't really help. They just make you less likely to want to read because it's a negative association with reading. It does not work. For me, for her, probably for a lot of people. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a jar, and I may even watch for the perfect jar at a thrift store. Might be more like a vase than a jar. We'll see what I find to put these rewards in. I'm going to give myself 5 cents, no more, no less, for each book that has been a part of this book haul. So this series of book haul videos. If it's a book I acquired during the book haul, or if it's in the Sue Grafton series, I'm including all of that series because I acquired most of it. Some of it I already had, and some of it is going to Australia. But I'm reading all of it as if I got it as part of this book haul. And once I finish the series, it can go away. I don't need to keep it. So there's things like that that'll be a little bit different, so I get 5 cents for each of the books in that series. Even though some of them technically I already had, and some of them I'm getting from the library because I didn't find them at the bookstore. And yeah, it just got messy. It's easier. 5 cents, it's not a big deal. And I would have gotten them if they were there. Yeah. Anyway, we make our own rules. I don't know about that one, if that's something I'm going to do in future series. Because this, if it works out, will be how I handle all of these giant book hauls. So yeah, I'm going to give myself 5 cents for each book. And I'll probably just update when I do my reading wrap-ups, like which ones were on the haul. Add my 5 cents for each one I get 5 cents for. There's also, at the end of this video, going to be a stack of books that are next to me here that you can't see quite. Let me angle my... Under this pink box, there's a stack of books about 2 feet tall that are books I got as my 6-hour books, my books that I could take home for free for every 6 hours that I worked at the bookstore so far. There are a few that are not in the stack. Most of them are in here, though. So I'm including them in this book haul's videos of record, is what I'm calling it, so that they also can get rewards if I read them. Because I picked them out specifically as my 6-hour books, they will get a quarter instead of 25 cents. Because probably I'm going to like them. If I don't, that's interesting, because those I actually used my judgment to pick them as the book for that 6 hours of working. These other ones, I threw them in a box. There wasn't a lot of thought involved. 5 cents. You know, it makes sense to me anyway. So, without any further ado, let's get into the books. I have 3 boxes of books and this stack. And they should go pretty quickly. A lot of them are hardback, so boxes doesn't mean that many books. This one is another history author that I've noticed as being of interest. Simon Winchester. This is A Crack in the Edge of the World, America and the Great California Earthquake of 1906. So that could be interesting. The cover is fun because it's done in strips. So it's got cracks in the cover itself. So that was very artistic. Yeah. Got some indie/small pub books. Brazen, Be a Voice, Not an Echo, by Sean Fucht. I'm guessing it's supposed to be inspirational nonfiction. Origins by Stephen Tandberg from the Infusion series. I have no idea. I'm guessing thriller, though. Death in his past, cancer in his future. Love will sustain him. Betrayal will scar him. Mortality may save him. From the back of the book. We'll see. Liberty's First Crisis. Adams, Jefferson, and the Misfits Who Saved Free Speech by Charles Slack. Very timely, very interesting. I have a Benjamin Franklin biography by David Freeman Hawke. Murder mystery or thriller, crime thriller. Rapscallion by James McGee. Carrymora by Thomas Harris. Familiar author. It's shiny. Again, my inner dragon comes out when I have to pick random books to stick in boxes. So, there are a lot of shiny ones. Proper Education for Girls by Elaine DeRollo. Probably literary fiction, is my guess. White Oleander by Janet Fitch. I don't know if I own a copy. I don't think I do. But if I do, it's probably paperback. So if it's in good condition, I'll keep the hardback here. Manhattan Nocturne by Colin Harrison. The Devil Amongst the Lawyers by Sharon McCrum. This is the author that did the 2-book series involving a murder mystery at a Comic-Con. I will remember the title as soon as I'm not trying to. They're really funny. Worth reading. Dead Before Dying by Dion Meyer. House of Splendid Isolation by Edna O'Brien. Edna O'Brien is one of the authors on the 1001 Books You Must Read Before You Die list, though I don't think that title is. But I got most of the books from the list in an omnibus edition. These are just some other ones that got left over at the sale, so I might as well get them too. Wild Decembers by Edna O'Brien. I figure if she's somebody that got put on that list, maybe her books are good. Not necessarily my thing, though, because I've read quite a few books off that list that I'm just so glad I don't have to read any more of them. Right. Hedging, a Smith and Wesson mystery by Annette Myers. I always put the stickers across all the useful spots. Writers Down by John McAvoy. My cats are shedding, by the way. So if it looks like I'm rubbing cat hair out of my nose constantly, they're shedding and there's 5 of them. So, yeah. The Defender, a novel of World War II by Bill Mesky Jr. And yet, have you ever noticed if you have cats, it's not the fluffy ones that are the problem for getting fur everywhere. It's the ones that seem deceptively smooth. And you go to pet them and this cloud of fur comes off of them, even if you just brushed them 3 hours ago. So, yeah. But they're so cute. Flint the Legend by Craig McDonald, which is a mystery according to the spine. But seems like maybe a Western mystery? Or Southern. It could be Southern, actually. Grave Undertakings, a Father Dowling mystery by Ralph McErnie. I got a couple Father Dowling mysteries. There's a show for that, isn't there? A TV series for the Father Dowling mysteries? I'm pretty sure I've seen one. This one is Desert Sinner. Or Desert Sinner. No? Desert Sinner. Desert Sinner. I got it right. With an etchings-inspired cover. This one, also from the same series, Cardinal Offense. These ones I just grabbed the whole stack of McErnies. The basket case. I like the cover on this one. Kind of a stained glass treatment. Try and get all the McErnies together, but the box is holding them. Here we go. Sub Rosa by Ralph McErnie. I don't know if this is the same series or not. It certainly does not have the same vibe. This one is the same series though. Seed of Doubt by Ralph McErnie. Requiem for a Realtor by Ralph McErnie. This next one looks awfully familiar. I may own it, but I didn't see it when I was going through all my other books, which I've been doing the last couple days. It is called The In-Between People by Emma McAvoy. But I know I've seen this cover. I just don't know if I own it or not. I'm getting distracted. There's a juvenile squirrel in the tree across from my window. And it's just looking out. It's got both heads sticking out, just watching. Not a baby, but not a very old one either. It's little. Like, yeah. Oh, they're so distracting. Oh well. Harry Lippin, Private Eye, or Liffin, Lipin, Liphin, Liffin. I think I'll go with Liffin. Barry Fantoni is the author on this one. I kind of like this kind of cover where it's very abstract. Platform by Michael Hillebeck, another author from the 1001 Books You Must Read Before You Die list. So possibly really good. And we got some more McErnie. Blood Ties, Father Dowling mystery. Green Thumb, also Father Dowling mystery. Irish Tenure, a mystery set at the University of Notre Dame by Ralph McErnie. And last one in this box, Judas Priest, a Father Dowling mystery. So that is that box. I'm going to put these down and I will be back with another box in just a second. All right. Another box. More books. Different shaped books. I think this one has fewer books in it. All right. First one in this box, Game Board of the Gods by Rochelle Mead. Which I'm guessing is maybe fantasy? World building? Yeah, fantasy. Maybe, I don't know. Yeah, I have no idea. Fantasy though. Might be good. Best-selling author of Bloodlines and Vampire Academy. So, yeah. William L. Shirer, The Nightmare Years, 1930-1940. This is the author that wrote The Rise and Fall of the Third Reich, which was actually really good. I know it is really long, but the audiobook is good. And Shirer's writing is really easy to get into. So if you are looking for history that you can, tackle as a big project, Rise and Fall of the Third Reich is actually one that I highly recommend, with the caveat that, yes, it is really long. But this is another book by him, The Nightmare Years. I'm looking forward to it. Yeah. And there are other books by him that show up at our bookstore occasionally. So I'm probably going to be reading some more of him. But that one got left behind by everybody that got books at the book sale, so okay. The Icosahedra Key by J. Jones, which might be suitably nerdy if they have that word in the title. And this one is a short story collection. So, the Icosahedra Key and Other Tales. And they spell tales like, the critter tales. So they're being cute. Maybe signaling that it's meant to be taken as cute. Maybe more satire than serious. We'll find out. And there is a cat on the cover. A black cat. Yeah. And tentacles. Like tentacle alien monster things. Promising, actually. Okay. Florence of Arabia by Christopher Buckley. Another John Saul book. This one is Guardian. And he's wearing one of those sweaters. I appreciate them more as a grown-up. I remember those sweaters. Now that I'm actually looking for sweaters like that, yeah. They make similar things at Walmart, but they're cheap. And as soon as your cat touches you with their claws at all, close to your sweater, it gets snagged and nowhere near the quality of those old sweaters. Anyway. I know, I'm all distracted by author pictures this time. I don't always look at them, but today I'm like, oh, that's an interesting one. The Portrait by Ian Pierce. I have a very fat book by him. And I might have others I've gotten recently. I don't remember if I actually got some of the other ones I thought of. But this one's very short. This one I've been curious about just because the cover is unusual. It's been in my M's. Apparently it's been in the M's not being bought for a while. For the last 5 years. It's been living in the bookstore and no one's bought it, which made it go in the bag of books. But it's an interesting cover. I know nothing about it. It's called The Last Noel by Michael Malone. But I got it just because it has a neat cover. And it does give kind of wintry vibes, so I may read this one closer to December. Or at least maybe for the first snowfall. I might do celebrate the first snow of winter by reading a book with snow in it or something. It'd be fun. The Goddess of Small Victories by Yannick Granek. It's quite the name. The name is spelled Yannick, Y-A-N-N-I-C-K, Granek, G-R-A-N-N-E-C. I think I got the pronunciation right. But yeah, interesting. Twist at the End, a novel of O. Henry by Stephen Saylor. So, probably not mystery. It says it's a mystery. So, O. Henry and a mystery. Fun. Oh, well, it does say twist at the end, so I suppose mystery. I haven't read that much O. Henry. I have a book of O. Henry short stories. I should read that. Here's one that we had another one come in, and we were trying to figure out if we already had them or not. This one's been in the store since 2021. So it's been a while. Mount Terminus by David Grand. I think literary fiction, but I'm not sure. Marshall's Law by Ben Sanders, which I think is a crime novel. Mystery or thriller, probably thriller, would be my guess. Another John Saul, The Homing, with a creepy eye on it. The Four Courts Murder by Andrew Nugent, which I'm guessing is going to have something to do with political thrillerness. With a true Irish lawyer. No. True Irish flavor lawyer. Oh my gosh. It's gotten scuffed in really awkward places. Sometimes I feel like trying to remove all the plastic and library stickers and everything. We were discussing this the other day at the bookstore. Like for the books that we've adopted that have all the library stickers on horrible places. But the last time my coworker tried that, their experience was basically what mine's been in previous years. It's not always better than just leaving it because you really have to get all the gunk off. Otherwise, it just sticks to everything. And anyway. Lambs to the Slaughter by Sally Spencer. Probably a prison camp, judging by the cover. I'm guessing. How Evan Broke His Head and Other Secrets, a novel by Garth Stein. The Devil's Highway by Gregory Normanton. I have no idea what it's about. It says, let's see, a blurb from some author I've never heard of. The striking and dazzling poetic meditation on resonance of place, conflict, and kinship. Okay. Literary fiction? Maybe. Silent Witness by Michael Norman, a Sam Kincaid mystery. Dun, dun, dun. I think that is a blood-stained hole in glass. I can pull it whole. The Commission by Michael Norman. These promise to be fast, fun reads. We'll find out. Night House by William Monahan. Not sure what it was about it. It appeals to me. And the last one in this box is another one that brings out my inner dragon. Look at how shiny it is. Ooh, shiny. This one is called Proxy. Subtitle, Some Debts Cannot Be Repaid by Alex London. Look at how shiny it is. Oh my goodness. And there's another empty box. Woohoo. I'm going to put these up and then we'll have one more box and the stack that's next to me, and that'll be the end of this haul sequence. So I will be right back. Alright, last box. And then the stack next to me, and we'll be done. So, let me get these guys up here. I have Free to Trade by Michael Ridpath. I like the cover. It's different.
Hi, how are you? Yeah, you a cat?
Death at Greenway by Lori Radar Day. I know she's been an author I've seen more of lately. Hi! Yeah, are you helping? Are you a helpful cat? Yeah. Yeah, which book should I read next? I'm not sure. Yeah. Yeah. Are you helping? You are. You're such a helpful kitty. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Are you helpful? Yeah. You helpful over there? Okay. You go helpful over there. Like right back in there. You be helpful right there. I know. Uh-huh. Yeah. You gonna say bye to your fans? You wanna say bye to your fans? Bye. Okay. Alright. No, do you have fans too? Not as much because you don't talk much. You're pretty. You could have more fans if you came up and said hi. You could. Okay. You might see Meowreese. He's thinking about it. Hi, dude. This one's one that I had my eye on. I didn't get a lot of books from the aisle this was in, but Match Wits with Mensa. Sometimes their puzzles get a little frustrating because I don't really enjoy them, but some of them might be fun. I haven't played with them for a while. My IQ, last time I did an IQ test, I'm like in the 5 or 7%, not in the 2%. So I don't quite reach Mensa level. Sometimes I wonder if I just didn't like the tests, because in most of those tests, like, I have my favorite sections, and I sometimes don't go as fast if they're my favorite because I'm having too much fun. Yeah. But anyway, they're fun puzzles, so I'll probably do some of those in the summer and see if I can finish the books, see if I can match wits with Mensa. Jihad versus McWorld. How Globalism and Tribalism Are Reshaping the World by Benjamin R. Barber. I've heard of this one, so I am interested in reading it. I was interested when I saw it. So now that we had one that was left over, I get to read it. Patriots, the Men Who Started the American Revolution by A.J. Langoose. Which might be interesting. Let's see if this box is liftable yet. Not from a single. Let's do these two. I'm going to try not to break myself lifting boxes badly. So, 1968 in America. Music, politics, chaos, counterculture, and the shaping of a generation by Charles Kaiser. Which should be good. And somewhere around here I have a Mark Kurlansky book that is also about the 60s and the culture changes that were going on then. So that may be a theme. Fighting to Become American. Assimilation and the Trouble Between Jewish Women and Jewish Men. By Riv Ellen Prowl. So that one is an interesting one. You don't always see books where they're actually looking at the gender differences in the experiences of immigrants. So this one I'm really interested in. All right. I do like this box, but the way we packed it, we could have been better at getting it balanced. All right. The 12 Lives of Samuel Hawley by the author of The Good Thief. The author being Hannah Tinty. Beating back the devil on the front lines with the disease detectives of the Epidemic Intelligence Service. Fascinating stuff. In another life, that might have been what I went into. I could totally see myself being one of the hotshot, disease investigators for like the CDC or whatever. I haven't read it yet. Maybe there's a UN version of the CDC that handles all the disease tracking and everything. I would imagine there is, and I probably have known about it before. But yeah, fascinating stuff. And all the modeling where you can figure out where it started and how by the patterns of where the symptoms show up and everything. Yeah, very cool. Pandemic by Sonia Shah. Tracking contagions from cholera to Ebola and beyond. So another book in the same theme. These both were considered history as far as where we had spots that they kind of made sense. They've been on our shelves forever. I think they sound fascinating and that nobody buys them, so they're mine now until I read them and bring them back. Goldberg's Angel, An Adventure in the Antiquities Trade by Dan Hofstetter. Fascinating stuff too. Yeah. I have an art degree as well. And for a while I was really into like movable art. So wearable art. I like sculpture. Not big stuff. I like the kinds of things where they're tangible but yeah, so in another life that I'm not doing CDC, disease stuff, I might be in the antiquities trade. I could see that too. The Approaching Fury by Stephen B. Oates. The coming of the Civil War told from the viewpoints of 13 principal players in the drama. A fun Civil War reading. The Heartland, An American History by Kristen L. Hogginson. This one we were sure was going to be interesting, and we put it on display several times. Like it's green, it's cheerful, it's inviting. And we looked at how long it had been in the store. It's been in the store for 3 years, and every so often somebody would put it on display and it still wouldn't sell. And yeah, so I'm going to read it. Maybe it's not very good. Maybe that's why it didn't sell. If it is very good, it'll go back to the store, and this time I'll know it's good, and I can tell people what it is, and they should read it. This one, there's some categories that are hard to figure out in a limited space bookstore. This one, I think, is history. But there are other places it could be. If we had a humanities section, I would be putting it in there. It's called The Demoralization of Society, From Victorian Virtues to Modern Values. It could also be sociology, but the kinds of stuff that end up in sociology, it didn't fit for that, so it was in history. It looks interesting. This one, the author is the same author as one of the arcs I read this year that I really liked. I think it was this year. It might have been the last one at the end of last year at this point. But Lily Tuck. She wrote a really good Holocaust novella, or short novel, based around the experiences of, or the fictional imagined experiences, backed by research, of a woman and her daughter who died in one of the concentration camps. So, really good. 5 stars, easy. This is another book by Lily Tuck called I Married You for Happiness. So, I have to read it. Because the last one I read by her, the most recent one she has published at this point probably, was really, really good. We have The Faculty Club by Danny Toby. Not really gold, but it's still gold-ish. Enough for my inner dragon. The Panic of 1907. Lessons learned from the market's perfect storm. Possibly also timely. You Will Know the Truth. A thriller by Leslie T. Thornton. This one's heavy. Like, what did they use for paper in that? Oh my goodness. Bad Samaritan by Amy and David Thurlow. A Sister Agatha mystery. With a nice southwestern church on the cover. The Humanity Project by Jean Thompson. Literary fiction, maybe? I'm guessing. And another one where the cover is just really cool. The Darkest Corners by Kara Thomas. And it's cool. It's like a pointillist painting. So up close it's actually dots. So newsprint or pointillism. Anyway, proof. It is empty. Woohoo! So I'm going to put these away and then we'll do the stack of books and wrap up this video. I'll be right back. Alright. Last segment. Hi, cat. We might have a Maurice. He's still thinking about it. Hi, dude. So these are all books that I picked explicitly. That they're like what I got paid in, basically. So a little more thought was put into these than into the other books in this book haul. It's still books I haven't read, but this will give you some idea of like the top tier of what I've brought home that I want to read. Some of them are top tier only because they're on the Bookhaul's 1001 Books You Must Read Before You Die list. But even then, they're what I am expecting to read from that list soon. So first on the stack, Burnham Wood by Eleanor Caton. This one, several people at the store when they saw that I was picking it out were like, oh my gosh, that's so good. And it's on book prize lists and everything, so obviously I have to read it. I've still not gotten to this one properly because I don't want to rush it. I want to really enjoy it. This is Steampunk Banditos, Sex Slaves of Shark Island by Mario Acevedo. Colorado author. Really great series. I love them. And I have not read this one yet. This is the Felix Gomez series. So I thought about getting the rest of the series while we had them, but I've read the rest of them. If they show up again in nice copies, I'll get the rest, probably. But for now, I just got the one that I actually hadn't read, because you only get one book for every 6 hours. So either I'd have had to like scroll them away or buy them. I'm trying not to spend a lot of money at a job that doesn't pay me. So that's part of it. This one I got a while back, maybe as far back as the first couple months I was there, so last year. Bewilderment by Richard Powers. Because I liked Playground. So I decided I should read some more Richard Powers. I finished the Overstory last month, I think. It was really good. Marilyn Robinson, Home. I got this one in December. Yeah. So this one I got in December because I was talking about my reading plans with my sister, and this is one of the books she said I needed to read. Off that list of 10 books she picked that are now part of my TBR. Into Oblivion by Arnaldur Indridason. I love his books, so this is the next one I need to read in the series. It's an Icelandic thriller. Very cold, which will be nice in July, because I can at least imagine what it'd be like to be cold. Exit West by Mojin Hamid, which is on several book prize nomination lists for whichever year it came out. Last year, maybe? I know it's on prize lists. This is one that I read maybe a little too fast. I'm going to probably reread it closer to the end of the year. And it's so shiny. Because then I read other books by Marjan Kamali that I really liked. I didn't like this as much, but I think it just took me a while to get into Kamali's style. So I will probably be revisiting it before it goes away. Death and the Penguin by Andrei Kirchhoff, off the 1001 Books list. I have Kirchhoff's Ark. I don't remember the name of the book, but I have one of his arcs on my Kooky Mayhem list that I'm supposed to be reading this week. Yeah. The Country Girls Trilogy and Epilogue by Edna O'Brien. This one actually has most of the Edna O'Brien, maybe all of the Edna O'Brien books that are on the 1001 list, all in one handy little book. The Orphan Master's Son by Adam Johnson. I've seen it around. I've seen it on prize lists. Maybe not a lot of them, but I've seen it. So I knew I needed it. And it was in a spot where I was staring at it every time I went to go get my coat over the winter. So now it is mine. American Rust by Philip Meyer, off the Bookhaul's 1001 list, that I do need to read. This one I got last year, so maybe November. The Hidden Louisa May Alcott, a collection of her unknown thrillers. Yes. Because she did write more than just the thriller that we all now know her for. A Long and Fatal Love Chase, which is really good. And there was a whole group read of it, and now everybody knows. It was really good. To the Bright Edge of the World by Yoan Ivey, which I got a couple months ago. The Amazing Adventures of Cavalier and Clay by Michael Chabon. I do like this cover with the Liechtenstein style artwork on it. The Children's Bible by Lydia Millet, which is on book prize lists and was a finalist for the National Book Award at one point. The Weekend by Bernard Schlink. I have an arc that is now archived, and I'll have to find it later and read it. That's by Bernard Schlink. The Maker of Swans by Peric O'Donnell. This one's another one that several staff members told me I absolutely have to read it. And it is on prize lists. This is the one I got last week. This is David and Goliath, Underdogs, Misfits, and the Art of Battling Giants by Malcolm Gladwell. The Book of Form and Emptiness by Ruth Ozeki. I got my own copy of The Island of Missing Trees by Elif Shafak, which I need to read again because Yeah, I read it during a readathon. I read it fairly quickly. Not too quickly, but I would like to reread it. And Portraits of a Marriage by Sandor Marai. Marai is on the 1001 Books list. Not for this book, though. Embers might be his that I read by him for the book list. Anyway, so this last batch of books, the ones that were stacked up here, they get 25 cents rather than 5 cents if I read them. And the coins go in a jar. And then at the end of the year, that money is reward money that I can use to buy wine or whiskey or, we'll see how much it is. And then figure out what my sweet treat or fancy treat is going to be. That is not buying books. We are not buying books with it. Oh my goodness, I do not need to buy books. This is what I do without spending a lot of money on books. Could you imagine if I let myself spend a lot of money on books? I would have no room to breathe in this house. So, that is my book haul for the spring 2025 Bag of Books book haul. We are now gearing up for the next couple months of kind of business as usual, building up the stockpile of books again. The Bag of Books sale at the bookstore I work at happens twice a year. Every bag of books, we have plenty by the time the sale starts. So all of this is making a room for the books that keep coming in. And we've already started amassing the new collection that will be what we work from to come up with the available books for the Bag of Books sale in October. So anyway, I'm going to wrap this up, get these videos uploaded, and then jump into reading because I still plan to read a few more books for the rest of the month. And I will catch you in the next video or on the internet somewhere, possibly on Sprints. Talk to you soon, guys. Bye!